My name is David Draiman, and this is my cannabis story. I guess I first tried cannabis when I was in 7th grade, way back in the day. Herb and I have a long history together. Um, it has always been a perfect means of balancing for me, for being able to achieve clarity and peace. My brain can be a pretty busy, insane place, and my ability to be creative has been helped tremendously and aided tremendously through calm, and the calm and serenity achieved from a THC high. I would say 95% of the music that I've written was written under the influence of cannabis. Um, from a health perspective, one of the things that has plagued me over the course of my life, it's hereditary, is high blood pressure. If I'm doing cannabis on a regular basis, I don't even need to touch the blood pressure meds. It regulates it better than any pill I've come across, and does it so much more comfortably. Um, it's just, I can't even stress the amount of benefit I get from having a touring body that has suffered 24 years of this business to have something that has anti-inflammatory agents that continuously work to keep my inflammation and my pain that I have all over my body from what I've done to it over the course of my career in check. I don't have to take Advil on a daily basis like a lot of other people do. I don't have to take my blood pressure meds. I don't have to worry about a lot of the things that people need other medication to worry about. And truth be told, is it brings you, besides the mental calmness and serenity, the physical calmness and serenity that goes along with it. I can't say enough about what cannabis can do. The stigma that has existed over the course of decades, since the reefer madness days, is absolutely unjustified. There's no reason why you should have such a welcome perception for a drug like alcohol and have the type of stigma that's attached to cannabis. People really need to accept that this herb is literally a gift from the powers that be and has so many potential uses. Then you even get down to the actual pulp of the plant itself, hemp, the industrial applications, the different utilizations for it, that it can be a replacement for plastics, that it can help with our carbon footprint, that it can be used for building, for materials, for anything you could possibly imagine, for clothing. I mean, the applications and the positive benefit that this plant could have and does have for the world are countless and almost immeasurable. And the fact that we still have to struggle with its legalization is asinine. That leads to another significant factor in that financial institutions doing business with cannabis companies is something that we can't dream of in a real sense yet because of the federal issue. And so that in and of itself is a stretch for cannabis companies to be able to just operate and to be able to stay cash positive, to be able to stay in the black. The amount of expenses from a tax perspective in terms of what exists currently, and in terms of an overhead perspective as far as security expenses, as far as transportation expenses for just even cash. People are transporting their cash at their businesses via Brinks trucks. I mean, it's just insanity the way that the sector has been forced to operate for so long, when it has so much positive benefits to the entire world. It never ceases to amaze me. I have often enjoyed making it a regular routine for myself and groups of my buddies to visit the mecca of all things cannabis, or the place that has been the mecca of all things cannabis for generations, and that is Amsterdam. I love the culture. I love the vibe of a city that is so responsibly accepting. You know, I think that there's such wisdom in how they do what they do, and the vibe there, and the cannabis culture in and of itself is incredibly welcoming, friendly, open, strong, and potent. And it's worth a revisit, even if you know, not even in the U.S. where things are legal and things are, you know, in the areas where they are legal, it still hasn't achieved the vibe of the cannabis scene that Amsterdam has. That's something that I would love to see more of in this country. That's something that I'm hoping that Vegas can end up becoming for this country. I think they're already, you know, laying the groundwork for that. But for there to be a cafe culture, a cannabis cafe culture similar to what exists in Amsterdam in the United States would be an amazing thing. So in traveling all over the world prior to this pandemic, seeing how cannabis culture is continuing to advance all over the globe, and that finally the United States is not only at a point where they've caught up with many places, but in many ways they've become a pioneer. Certain sectors, certain sections of the United States. You couldn't go to Amsterdam 10 years ago and you wouldn't hear people in Amsterdam claiming that the best strains that they can get their hands on are coming out of Northern California. You know, that's something that you wouldn't have heard. And so, and the change in, you know, perception in the United States in particular, more than anywhere, I would say, has been dramatic. Dramatically more accepting, dramatically more understanding, dramatically more, you know, just clear about the fact that this is something that has true medical benefits to people, and that has so much more upside than any perceivable downside. It's kind of like the, oh God, what was that band back in the day? Shit. Dude died in a car accident. Great band, Sublime. I don't smoke 2 joints in the morning, probably 2 bowls in the morning. It just kind of, you know, wherever I need another little pick-me-up over the course of the day. It's not a constant thing, but it's a regular thing, I would say. When I'm not on tour, it's just such a nice, relaxing agent. When I'm touring, I can't burn. I can still ingest, but I can't burn because I need to just watch the lungs. I need full capacity for the singing and everything else. But, you know, just even from that perspective, edibles and tablets, and I'll take tablets at night when I'm on the road and I can't burn, just to help with sleep, because, you know, travel is rough and you need the sleep when you can get it. And instead of going with, you know, typical over-the-counter sleep aids to try and get you onto some sort of time zone when you're jumping from one end of the country to the other, THC pills are an amazing way to really, really, you know, accurately help with your sleep. I love them. In closing, I think that, yeah, the more that we can continue to communicate the truth about cannabis and the many, many positive benefits that the plant offers to the entire world, to all of us, the better we all will be for it. I think that the better and the more frequent and more effective our lines of communication and being able to destigmatize, the better a chance we have of rectifying things sooner than later. So I think that this platform and what it, the potential that it holds are amazing. Being a professional singer and being a cannabis consumer and user is often challenging, but it doesn't need to be. Cannabis, THC, in and of itself, whether you burn it or you ingest it or anything else, it does that wonderful thing that we all love to refer to as cotton mouth. It's just about anybody. That's about the worst you're ever going to get from taking a THC pill. And if you're a professional singer, you are hydrating yourself like a maniac on a regular basis anyway. And as long as you time your doses away from your performance and you make sure to rehydrate effectively, the benefit that actually doing THC pills on a regular basis does for you is it keeps your body relaxed. It keeps your instrument, your body, relaxed. The way that any singer can truly be more powerful is to be more resonant. And the only way that any instrument, whether it's your body or anything else, can resonate is if it is loose. If you are tight, if you are stressed, if you are all pent up and all clenched, you can't vibrate, you can't resonate, you can't emit that sound. That's classical operatic technique, utilizing all of your nasal passages, your entire vocal apparatus. And some people, you know, some vocal coaches will even encourage certain singers who don't have acid reflux issues to take a shot, you know, prior to going on stage just to break the nerves. For me, if I'm doing cannabis regularly, I don't have to worry about anything like that. I'm relaxed. I'm ready and I'm focused. And like I said, you have to be responsible with it, like with anything. And if you're irresponsible about it, you'll get reminded pretty quickly. But it can be incredibly beneficial. And lung capacity is something that you kind of have or you don't. And you can actually increase to a certain extent. But whether you're, if you're a singer and you can handle the holding out a note for an indefinite period of time that seems fairly long to the average person, you probably have a pretty significantly large lung capacity to begin with. And that means you probably can take in more smoke than the average person. So the only downside for singers is we probably get higher than you do. I love that Israel's become you know, they're at the forefront of trying to really see what the benefits are of medical cannabis, of seeing what the threshold for the benefits are. I love how progressive Israeli medicine has been over the course of decades now, and that they're a forerunner in this sector just makes me even more proud.